Hello, everyone.
Hello. Hey, Mist, how you doing?
Just fine. How about yourself?
Doing okay, doing okay. Great. Just on time. I don't know if you were here a little earlier. We were going through with one of the other players who's played a couple of sessions and was creating their permanent character. Um, and I saw you were on Roll20, but I don't know if you were in Discord for any of that.
No, wasn't in the chat. No.
Okay, all right. Uh, well, what we have, what I have made up right now, and I didn't see whether I had gotten an additional response from you during the week or not. I have at the moment a, let's see, I have a halfling pre-gen available. I have a thief pre-gen available. I have a cleric pre-gen available. And I have 2 magic user pre-gens available. If you really want to play something else, I can whip up something fairly quickly.
No, I think the thief would be good.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and do that. That's the thief. I'm going to edit this. I am going to put it in your journal. Okay. All right. Now, yeah, I'm just going to leave that there for my. No, I won't. I'll take that. Okay. You will see in your journal there is a character with a name of Brihasa, which is what was assigned to it by the RNG. You should be able to edit that character, so you should be able to change that name if you want to.
Okay.
But that ought to be in there now, and let you get ready for that. Did you have a chance to read through any of the stuff in the different text folders during the week in Discord to get an idea?
Well, yeah, I've played before, and I have the rules Cypedia. So
Okay,
I was
all right.
kind of refreshing myself on how first and second edition thieves actually work again.
Okay. Yeah, and I have a few minor homebrew rules that I'm throwing in there, basically
Okay.
because partly because this edition is so unforgiving, and
Oh yeah.
so many players have grown up playing later editions where there's a lot more opportunity. So I've instituted things like basically there's death saves if you get knocked to 0. There's death saves so that you don't just instantly die, and a lot of the poisons already have like a built-in timer on them. It's like save versus death or die in 1 turn, which is like 10 minutes. So there's a chance for people to like feed you a healing potion or do a healing skill on you or do something to try to
Okay.
Prevent you from just keeling over. Uh, for those of us that played in that era when the rules were out, it's like, as Wesley, who's one of the other players in this game, he says, yeah, back in the day, we always just waited until the characters got to second or third level before we even named them. It was like, oh, yeah, this was just fighter, thief, magic user.
It's I remember second edition was when I cut my teeth on, and Yeah, it was a tinderbox until you actually got 4 or 5 levels into you.
Yeah. Well, but going back and looking at it, I'm a little bit amazed at even at first level the power curve for some of the classes. Like I was working with one of our players who wanted to create a custom magic user. And so he's like, "Man, I only get one spell a day." And it's like, "Yeah, but you could choose sleep for that spell." Okay, so what does that mean? Well, you can put up to 16 hit dice worth of creatures asleep. That means that if you're fighting kobolds and they all fail, up to 32 of them will just fall out. So it's like
Yeah.
you can really change the dynamics of a battlefield as a
Also,
first level.
yeah. Also, the fact that charm is a days or months long spell, depending on what you
Yes,
charm. So you can theoretically gain a fighter with your one level with your one spell.
exactly. Yep, yep. And somebody who thinks you're their best friend and they will defend you. Mm. And he's like, "Well, wait a minute. Can I use that if we're trying to interrogate people?" It's like, "Sure. They think they're your best friend.
It's no
That'll
longer
help with."
interrogation. It's just asking questions.
Yeah, yeah. So he's like, "Oh, okay." So uh, some of the rules are a little bit nebulous on, you know, the number of spells in the spell book. So I just came up with a little formula. So it's like you get a few spells in your spell book, but you only have the one slot, and you have to memorize it. Decide which one at the beginning of the day that you're going to use, and then you're stuck with that one until you get to um, till you sleep again. Which
Sure.
there's no such thing as a long rest in this edition, but basically it's like the long rest of later editions.
So looking over this sheet that I've got, just 11s on all the stats, and I don't see any hit points or level.
Let me double check. Let me pull up. Um, you renamed Cyan.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a Siren
Okay. Then I will
who
I
isn't.
will I will
Oh,
change that
so
name then.
yeah. Okay, so you probably when you after you change the name, you want to go to the combat tab, and if I've properly given you your AC and hit points, it should be there along with your weapons and other types of things. So this Roll20 character sheet is actually pretty nicely done because when you use the character sheet to do things like attacks or um, uh, skills, it will automatically do all the math for you based on the mechanics of this edition of the game. So yeah, you got 4 hit points. Because
Oh, I see. There we
Claire,
are. Okay.
yeah, thieves in this ability in this thing only had D4 for hit points. It's got your Thaco, it's got your short bow and your dagger already equipped for weapons. Um, and yeah, let's see. I didn't give these guys uh, any extra gold, but the you should see on the inventory tab you have all of your items that your character has, and then I think if I did it correctly, yes, on your combat tab, I did put that your leather armor is equipped, so it's automatically including that in your armor class.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
What level is the party?
everybody is level 1,
Oh, okay.
um, and that's partly because this game has we've been playing regularly every week for a while, but as we talk through some of the rules, it's just sort of a little slow going, and we've been taking our time with it and whatnot as we go on. Also, part of it is the fact that you need so many hit point or so many experience points in this edition to gain a level. Um, I also have modified the uh, I've also modified the XP award thing. I'm awarding more XP for monsters than the book um, would tell you. I'm also giving XP awards for RP and for story milestones and for things like that. But I am not awarding XP based on how much gold people accumulate, because it's like there's the way this edition is set up. Um, you could go weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks without getting any XP, and then you get to the last um, the last room in the dungeon, and you kill the guardian and you get the treasure, and it's like, okay, now you get 10,000 XP all at once. It's really kind of um, I feel like it's broken in the way it doles out XP, because you get
Okay.
so little XP for killing monsters and so much XP for getting treasure, um, that it almost encourages being murder hobos. And it's like, okay, I don't want to have the campaign turn into that. So I'm just, all right, no XP for gold, but I'm gonna change that around. And I've played around, and I'm still kind of walking in on what's an appropriate level, because I feel a little bit like, okay, it's starting to be a long time before we're getting to another level. So I may start ramping up some of those story points and RP awards and whatnot, so that everybody's getting a little bit more. I would like to I would like to try to have everybody reach a level, yeah, every 6 to 8 sessions. I think that's good. You know, gives us, it feels like you're making progress then, and yet still it gives you enough time to go and explore and do things. Um,
Sure. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Um,
Now so the looking for group thing, the concept was interesting, where we would be uh, edition hopping, or is that like something you're actually planning on doing, or what is up with that?
yes, this is a homebrew game world where, if we were thinking about it in civilization terms, civilization of our world, this would probably be a late Stone Age, early Bronze Age civilization. So um, there's one known empire in the world. Um, it's an empire called the Sylvan Empire that's ruled by elves, because the elves were the first of the sentient races to appear in the world. They basically went out, started expanding and exploring, and they eventually ran across humans and dwarves and halflings, which are the other playable races in this edition. And as they did, they incorporated them into their empire. They kind of felt like they were obliged, as the first race, to sort of shepherd and guide and help the other races along without trying to smother them or control them. And then the empire eventually got to a point where it expanded as far as it would, and through a combination of corruption and disease within the empire and external pressures from outside the empire, it has gone into decline. And it's been in decline for a little over 200 years. And so humans, being short lived, There's probably now more humans within the Empire than there are any other race because they're just more generations of them. But the elves are still thought of as the leaders of the empire, and the imperial family is elvish. Most of the noble families are elves. And the idea is that we'll play through this edition of the game, tell some stories here, and then when we come back and we start the advanced D&D game, so the what a lot of people think of as the first edition game, the events, some of the heroes, um, some of the stories that we told in this edition will form part of the history, the legends, the myths, the heroes for that second game. And then we play through an AD&D version, and that lays down another layer of history, myths, heroes, legends, and then we come back for the second edition game and do the same thing. So it's sort of meta building both the history of the world, the legends of the world, the myths of the world, and experiencing all the different editions of D&D back to back to back in the same uh, game space. So it's kind of my personal way of doing what people like Ed Greenwood and others have done that were part of creating uh, uh, the game spaces, if you will, for the official D&D. Like Forgotten Realms was Ed Greenwood's home game at one point, and then eventually, when he started working for TSR, it became the Forgotten Realms, and a lot of the different game uh, elements were set there. And same thing with
Okay,
World of
gotcha.
Greyhawk and other things that other people that were part of the early crew at TSR and on now at Wizards of the Coast have continued doing over the years. So yeah, that's kind of the theory and philosophy of this game. Is that
Okay.
it'll be a chance for people to experience what the different rule sets of the game were like, which is interesting in and of itself. And then it's also a chance to build um, the legends and history and myths of a game world in the process.
Hey, Galabond, it's Akio. Just joining.
Hey, Akio, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Excited for some classic D&D.
Yeah, we have Mist, who's a new player with us today. He's going to be playing a thief, which is good.
Great choice. Great choice.
Yeah, and Mark was on a little bit earlier, and he created
Hey guys.
his. Hey,
Hey there.
speak of the devil, here he is. Mark is back on. He created his permanent character, which is a magic user.
Oh,
So
perfect.
he'll be
Cool.
introducing that character today.
Can,
10 was.
can my character just take the place of a character that I actually played in the past?
Yes. We'll just say that he's there. You know what? I thought there was that other guy there, but he's gone now. And oh, this magic user is standing there. So maybe it was all an illusion. The magic user was casting an illusion that he was a dwarf before.
Yeah, with one spell per day.
Yeah.
except somehow he didn't even use his spell slot to do that. He's that good.
He's that good.
Yeah, this magic user is that good. All right. Hey, well, it's noon, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the music. All right, all right, all right. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome. My name is DM Galabond. It is Saturday. It's noon, and that must mean it's time for the history of D&D. And today, I am joined by a pretty full channel of players. I have in Discord, I have Mark, I have LC, I have Akio, I have Mist, and I have 10. I believe everybody except for Mist was here last week. So, Mist, why don't you go ahead and tell everyone a little bit about yourself and your experience with D&D and the reason that this game intrigued you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've been playing D&D since the late '80s. D&D, Shadowrun, Vampire. Most of the big name games. Cut my teeth on second edition and saw this game and of course the looking for group thing, and I was really intrigued by the whole idea of cross-platform, cross edition gameplay. So the idea of building playing characters in one edition and then those characters become myths and legendary heroes from the next edition is a really interesting concept.
All right, cool. Well, good, good. Glad that appeals to you, and I hope we will all find it as enjoyable an experience to go through as I think it could be. Because I think it'd be really fun to be playing third edition or something, and then you hear about some hero. Oh yeah, I remember that was my character back in first edition. Okay. Last time, I'm going to go ahead and change our map to where we were last time. Last time we were still in the basement of uh, that old moat house, and we finally had gone through most of the areas and discovered uh, pretty much most of the treasure. There was a few places that we hadn't gone. Most notably, one place that people haven't gone is they know about a well that is supposed to have a monster in it, but nobody's been down there yet, so we don't know what that is. Now, as we ended last session, one of our players, Wes, who plays Sylvia, and he has let us know he's not going to be able to be here today. So I'm going to move him to the GM layer. She was going to do a detect magic on some of the stuff that we have found. I can say, if we want to go ahead and do that, I can say that Brother Tuck has accompanied you all and that he can do that, or we can either figure out what we want to do vis-a-vis getting stuff back to town or going and checking out that well, and then we can examine all of the magic stuff later. So oh, and also one other thing I need to change here is I need to change let's just double check. Okay, that is, yes. I'm going to bring Trophim onto the board,
Mm-hmm.
and I am going to get Wahub off the board. So I'll go ahead and I will add the label so everybody can see who he is. And then during the break, I'll go ahead and do a I guess I've never done a token actually for Siren, so I'll do a token for both of you guys during the break today. All right, so we'll Trophim, who is the magic user is there,
Yes.
along with everyone else. And let's see, Salvatore and Omu, we'll just bring you up here along with everyone else, since we were over by the area where they had found the treasure. Ladies and gents, what do you all want to do? Do you want to examine the stuff here, or do you want to move on?
Um, I think my character is going to go into the office, if I remember this correctly,
Mm-hmm.
and just search through the stuff there.
Okay. Well, from the session notes last time, I'll go ahead and pull up that information. We pretty much know what you all found in this area last time, but we did not do a detailed examination of it. So, let's just go here. Come on. What you all found is you all discovered as treasure, there were some gems. There was some ceremonial brooches from the sergeants. And in this office, there's wall hangings, furnishings, rugs, gold incense brazier. There's a serving set made of silver with gold and platinum accents. There's a box full of rare incense. And there's a necklace of 10 matched fire opals. There's also some papers, one of which was written in common, and you all were able to see the note that was. There's also some other papers that look like they were written in some kind of magical script. And it seems like those might be um, kinds of journals or records or logs or something like that. So um, somebody would have to get to a point where they can do something like a read magic on it to see what all is in there, which probably means you have to wait until you get back to town, unless anybody has read magic memorized and can do that today. Um, and then the other items that were discovered, there was fancy black plate mail armor with a stylized spider motif that the cleric Lareth was wearing. There's a fancy copper colored bracer that he had on his right wrist. And there's a black staff with a stylized spider motif that also the cleric had. Those all look like they're might be magical because they're shinier than they should be if they've been used for a while. But you need to do a detect magic on it to figure out what those are.
I've got magic or detect magic. Which do I use to like analyze the what's it called?
You would use detect magic to analyze and just see what items are magical. Is that the spell that you chose to memorize for today,
Yeah,
or?
I've chosen read magic.
Oh, read magic. Okay, that would help you decipher the. Um, that would help you decipher all of the records, um, which is probably going to be, you don't know what could be in there. So it could be like his journal, or it could be information on the organization that they work for, or it could be instructions from his boss.
Can I just do that now?
Yeah, sure, you can do
Okay.
that.
Do I have to roll?
No, you just open up those logs and you start flipping through them. You cast the spell, and the mystical arcane letters resolve themselves into words that you can read. And you do, in fact, find out a little bit about this organization. You find out that Bargle is considered a lieutenant. And Bargle is lieutenant for the for what they call the region of okay, I need to verify what I called this person's name again. The Duke. Duke Thalen. Okay. Bargle is the lieutenant for the Thalen region
Okay.
of the area. So he has a. You learn that this is one of his. That this area is one stronghold that he controls, and they call it a stronghold. You also find out that there's another stronghold to the south of the keep, which would be Duke Thalen's keep. You also learn that Bargle himself has a lair that is somewhere in this area. And then there's a hint that there it doesn't name names, but it says our allies in the keep also answer to Bargle. So apparently, in Duke Thalen's keep, there may be some people who are allied with this cult following this dark goddess. And of course, he has refused to say the name, and the name is not written down anywhere. He just always refers to it as our dark lady, or the goddess who my hand is not worthy to write, whose name my hand is not worthy to write. It's like this. He's either very superstitious, or if they have, maybe they're told not to ever use the name, and he takes that very seriously. Even in documents that are within his own organization, he doesn't even write it down. So we don't quite know who that is yet, but it does give you a little bit of additional information, and that's probably things that the village council would want to take a look at when they get to questioning Lareth later on, because they've already taken him back to Dale.
Okay.
So that's what you guys learn from there. Yeah, Duke Thaden. So what else would you guys like to do? Is it time to head back to town, or do you want to take a look at that well, or what's everybody thinking?
I want to go back to the town.
Okay.
Should we go back to the town? We may want to get some things there. We also have gotten some valuable stuff. But it sounds like then there are spies in the Duke's keep, in his court, if you will.
Should we
based on that letter.
visit the Duke? I don't know if we could
Yeah.
do that. Can
I mean, I think we can do whatever the hell we want.
What an
Hey, this is Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
It's like if at worst comes to worst, you can roll for trying to do something, and if it's really outlandish, maybe you fail no matter what you roll, but you can at least roll for it.
Rolls to see if you are able to present yourself to the Duke.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely not. Bye bye.
It's like, no, please make it. They have to have a nat 20. I hate those guys.
No, no, but also, we especially with it being old school D&D, it may not just come down to a roll. If we can think of a good way, we can present some evidence. We can take these letters with us. He may have a magic user in his own court who would be able to go, oh, hey, yeah, I can verify this. I think
Yeah.
maybe this will all end up terribly, and we'll blame Omu. Bye.
Well, we should definitely try. I think. Yeah,
I think it's
that's a
worth a
good
shot.
idea.
LC, what about you? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's worth going for.
Okay, for now, head back to town, process what you have, figure out what's going on, and then maybe go see the Duke.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, with all of the soldiers from the town guard and the animals that they have and everything, we can just hand wave. Everybody gets that stuff all packed up in fairly quick
But
order.
if
Oh.
I'm correct, we can return to this later, right?
Oh yes, you can return
This
to
is
this
our
later.
house now.
There's
We own it.
there's a there's been some discussions that the village council has had, and they have talked about perhaps turning this over as a base of operations for an adventuring company. Um, there was a handshake deal with Siren and with Devlin. Um, there hasn't been a whole lot of more discussion about that, so everybody's probably going to have to find out some more details about that later on. But we'll just hand wave everything getting collected together and heading back to town. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and change our map. And so after a couple of hours of riding, you return to the village of Dedale. Okay, and Dedale is looking kind of fancy. And actually, I want to say, I'm going to give credit where it's due. Joshua Fontenay. You can find his artwork over at artstation.com. He actually created this beautiful map. For those that played in earlier sessions, I was using a long ago published map from a module to be the base, our village base, and it was it had seen a lot of better days. So I found this a couple of weeks ago, and I said, "All right, I'm going to upgrade our map of the village, and have that as everything." So you guys come back into town. Couple of key points of interest. This is going to probably bounce everybody's screen around a little bit, so my apologies. Over here at the basically the northwest side of town is the All Face Shrine, where Brother Tuck is a cleric. Here, this large building, kind of in the center of town, is the Inn of the Welcome Wench, which is where everybody has been staying. This building here next to the inn is the basically the village elders hall where the town council meets.
The retirement home.
This area here is the home of the village elder. And then these works over here in the southeast, this is the small keep that a pair of retired adventurers is building for themselves in town. Um, you all also found out, or Siren found out, I should say, in an earlier session along with Devlin, that part of this keep is built on the site where Bargle's home used to be. Because this mysterious Bargle that you guys have heard about actually, a number of years ago, was a resident of this town. Um, some things went bad. He was asked to leave. They thought they would never see him again. And now, uh, years later, some mysterious stuff has been happening, and his name has popped up in the mouths of both uh, the bandits that you all encountered, this particular cleric that you all have captured, and some of the monstrous humanoids that were discovered before this campaign began. So, uh, those are some of the landmarks in town. As you all come back, word seems to have filtered around, and there's kind of a hero's welcome for everybody. Um, the town is very, very happy to learn that not only has the bandit problem been dealt with, but that there was a like the beginnings of perhaps an evil cult, and you guys have smoked that out and brought the leader and uh, some of his followers back to stand justice for their crimes. There were some people that were kidnapped that were freed from a few sessions ago when people found them in the ogre's larder or the ogre's pantry and set them free. So the town is very happy about that. The merchants are really relieved that now on the road between Hofsland and the capital, they're not going to have to go through this area that had become rife with bandits. And life is generally good for the moment, that is. So, what will be happening kind of off screen, and we can interact with that as much or as little as you guys would like. There is a celebration that kind of goes on for the rest of the afternoon and into the evening at the inn. There will be some minstrels that are playing songs and telling stories. There will be lots of celebratory food and drink. Um, basically, if you guys are sitting at a table and you have an empty mug, somebody will be putting a full mug in front of you, and you will have the opportunity to do that as much or drink as much or as little as you wish. Um, you won't be able to buy any food because your food will be bought for you as the heroes of the day. Lareth has already been taken to a holding cell over at the village council's hall, where he is being questioned by members of the village council. And you have learned that swift riders have already been sent before you all ever got back. A rider was sent south towards the capital, and another rider was sent north towards Hofsland um, in order to let them know that you all have a prisoner that's part of some cult. Would somebody from the capital, please send a detachment of guards to take this prisoner down to the capital and be interrogated over there. And also over at Hofslin, hey, letting you know there's this cult operating here. By the way, have you guys heard anything about that? Let us know. So those writers are off. We won't know anything about what they find for a while. And then, of course, there's the matter of dealing with all of the loot that you all found. So would we like to go through and take a look at what that loot is at the moment?
Yes.
Okay.
That was so instant.
Okay.
He knows what he wants.
Great. Okay, well, here is what you all discover. You all discover from the armor that the armor is the armor is +1 plate mail.
Ooh.
So it is black. It's not nice and shiny, metal, but it's made of some sort of black metal. But it is +1 armor, so it's magical armor. The item that was around around Laris' arm is something called a phylactery of free action. And what this means that whoever wears it is immune to the effects of any kind of magic that would try to restrain them. So like if somebody tried to cast a hold person spell on you and keep you from moving, if you were wearing this, it wouldn't affect you. You would be able to break out of that. And then the staff that he has is a staff of striking. And Tuck's analysis will tell you that this item has 20 charges. And the staff of striking so staff. Okay. Let's go to staff of striking is, where's our magic items, chapter 14. Okay, that's magic items, magic items, magic items. Where are you, little magic items? Every edition they change the. Okay, there we go. Staff of learning, staff of power, staff of striking. It's usable by all spellcasters, and this weapon inflicts 2d6 points of damage per charge if the hit is successful. And only one charge may be used per strike. So basically, it acts like a quarterstaff, except when you hit it, it does more magical damage. A staff normally will do 1d6 damage. This one will basically do double that damage, and it's considered magical damage. So if you're fighting anything that has, is not hurt by normal staves, this will actually hurt it because it's magic. And a staff has a number of charges. So this one has 20 charges, and when the last charge is used, well, then it will be a normal staff until you can recharge it. And it usually takes like some kind of magic ritual, and there's usually rather expensive components and stuff like that that you have to expend in order to recharge a magic item when it's been depleted. Now, in later editions of the game, if you've played later editions, in those editions, it has a certain number of charges that can be used every day, and then it recharges automatically. In this edition, that's not the case. It's charged up, you expend the charges, and then you don't have any charges until you spend the money and the time to recharge it. So those are the magical items that you all have discovered. And I believe in the session notes, I went ahead and gave you the gold piece value of the treasure and the loot that you found. If there's anything that you need to ask about, we can go over that. But we mentioned last time that diamond that he had in his pouch, but I had already put that in the previous session's treasure. So that diamond actually turns out that it's a, let's see, from Lareth. That diamond is worth 1,000 gold pieces. So it's a pretty big diamond.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yes. Yeah. And then all the stuff out of the office there, if you add up all the wall hangings, furnishings, rug, and gold incense brazier together, that's worth 2,000 gold pieces. The serving set made of silver with gold and platinum accents, that's worth another 1,000 gold pieces by itself. There is a box full of rare incense, and that box and the incense inside it is worth 1,000 gold pieces. And then that necklace of the matched fire opals on a gold chain, that's worth 5,000 gold pieces all by itself. So this guy may have been living in the ruins of a moat house in an underground bunker, but he was living lavishly there.
And yeah, geez. So, but in this town, realistically, there's probably not a ton of stuff that we can buy. This is like a slow one-horse town, kind of out in the middle of nowhere.
Accio, if there were inspiration in this edition, I would give you inspiration for that. Yes, in fact, they actually have information about that I put together. Buying and selling gear and loot. So Dedale is a village, and that means that the limit for purchasing or selling things is 200 gold pieces.
Sure.
And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 different sizes of settlements. They range from a thorp, which has a population under 80, and that has a 40 gold piece limit, or all the way up to a metropolis, which has a population of 25,000 or more, and there's a 100,000 gold piece limit for items there. So you would have some merchants here that would gladly buy any of this stuff for you, but the most they could afford to pay you for any of it would be 200 gold. So clearly you probably don't want to liquidate the stuff here. You want to go to a larger area and liquidate it.
Of course.
The closest area that you could liquidate all of this is the city of Hoffsland, which is a day's ride to the north. If you go to the south a couple of days, you pass by that keep where the Duke is, and you go all the way to the capital. That has a 40,000 gold piece limit. And then there's actually only 2 cities in this province, one which is Arendria up in the northeast. Arendria is big enough to have the 100,000 gold piece limit. So, but for right now, you've got wealth, but it's locked up in these items until you get to a point where you could liquidate it. Now, you did, however, get a ton of weapons and armor and all that kind of stuff, and that can all be sold and turned into gold. And because none of that in and of itself none of those items will be a 200 gold piece limit. So you can generate a little bit of cash flow that way. And the way I have always played it in all of my games is that you can sell it for half the price that you can buy it for. I will give people the option, if you really want to try to bargain and you make some good rolls, I'll give you a little bit more. But if you just want to hand wave everything, then you get half book value for it.
Interesting. And so as I already have not great AC, so to a certain extent, the nice +1 plate you could argue is wasted on me, and Steeran tanked all those many missed blows and many successful blows from the guards. So he, if anyone has earned it, certainly Omu is outranked. Same thing with the staff. I'm not a spellcaster. Is there anything else in terms of I should be able to look in the Discord, but I think that it's split across the multiple sessions. Is there like a single summary of all the inventory that we've picked up? Were there any magical weapons of any kind that we came across?
I think those have. I think there was there LC, was there one magic sword that you guys came across?
Not that I remember, no.
There's a magic shield, and
Yes.
LC is using that.
Oh, that's fair.
So now here's the other thing, and I'm fine with players hashing everything out themselves unless it turns into a big argument, and then I will put like the loot table on, and I will decide who gets what. But as long as everybody can decide among themselves, it's fine. Right now, I believe among the players in the group, LC is the only person who has a magic item, and that's the magic shield.
Okay.
Does anybody else have a magic item? Because I can't remember if Tony, if Frodo has one.
We have the elven cloak. I don't know who has it.
And Frodo has that, right?
I think we got it after Frodo had to take a break.
Okay. Okay. So there's an elven cloak floating around somewhere.
It's too small for any of us.
Yeah, it was an elven cloak sized for what, a halfling or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
half
okay.
price.
Okay, that's right. That's right. Elven cloak sized for a halfling. So that nobody currently has that in the party, and nobody could wear it. And a cloak like that probably is too expensive to sell in this town. So if there's no halflings with the group, then when you get to a city where you could sell it, you could sell that and turn that into gold that could then be split among the group or given to whomever. And things like that, if you say, okay, you can't wear it, but we're going to give that cloak to such and such a character. If you've decided to give the cloak to that character, then when they go to the town and they sell it, well, they get all the gold for it. But if it's just sitting in party loot when you go and sell it, then I would presume that means the gold gets distributed among everyone. So
Cool.
it's
Cool.
however you guys want to do it. As long as you all agree, I don't care how you divvy it up.
I like with Siren, keeping the +1 shield. Like, we survive together, so I'm all for whatever allocation is the most optimal. Do you know what I mean? And I have a -1 dex modifier, so it would, if I had a +1 anything to armor, it just gets soaked up by me being clumsy. So no, that makes perfect sense. I think there are some daggers in circulation. I just would want to take one because I didn't get one in my starting equipment, and it's just nice to have a little smaller backup weapon if need be. If I could.
Okay, so yeah, certainly we can say that Omu would take a dagger, and he would have a dagger to use.
Correct.
All right, so back to town. Omu takes 1 dagger. All right. Just put that in there so that, let's see. What were the, what do we have? Okay. Yes, here we go. What I have from session 11, which was the last session where we detailed a lot of weapons and armor that you got. There were 6 short swords that the bugbears had. Then the soldiers had 18 sets of leather armor, 18 long swords, 18 light crossbows. Then the sergeants had 3 sets of leather armor, 3 shields, 3 long swords, 3 light crossbows. And then going back above that, we did run across daggers at some point. There were plenty of daggers somewhere. Oh yeah, don't forget, you guys have that holy water and the potion of undead control and the scroll of protection undead from the ghouls. I thought that was really interesting. A bunch of ghouls had stuff that's good against undead. They're keeping it from anybody else using it against them. Lugash the ogre didn't really have much of anything. Do. Oh, yeah, there was that whole, which I think we decided, Elsie, you and Devlin and Frodo decided you were just going to leave it there. There's that whole basically
Room of food and armaments.
room of food and armaments in the thing. There's 30 shields, 12 sets of leather armor, barrels of salted meat, spears, glaives, gizarms, battle axes, crates of arrows and bolts. Yes, so there's tons of stuff there. Then let's see. Okay, you know what? Even if there's not a dagger,
Yeah.
you guys. Oh, yeah. Wait. Okay, yeah, there were 11 daggers way back in session 4.
Okay,
And
cool.
I can't remember whether you guys liquidated all of that or not. No, I think you did liquidate it.
We
yeah.
also go on. Conceivably, we could even just say to a smith in town, "Look, here's a short sword. Can you give us a dagger in exchange for it?" Or even if he was like, "Well, that's a 1-to-1 exchange. I want to make a profit." We could go, "Look, we took 13 of these short swords from these soldiers. Here's 3. Can we have a good dagger?"
Probably what we would want to do is we want to convert all that to gold, and then out of your
True.
share, you just buy a dagger.
It's true.
That way, everybody, that way we just get that. Okay, so
it's not the end of the world. It's an aspiration for Omu. It's his character arc. He's just looking for a dagger.
Okay, Omu will buy a dagger.
Okay.
From his share of the gold. All right. Probably at our break, I will have to do some quick calculations, figure out how much it is to liquidate the stuff you brought out of the dungeon. And then presuming that that's going to get split up, figure out what everybody's share of that would be. Omu and Siren, do either of you have an issue if we just divide that up among the 4 players that were there last week? I guess actually 5 because Wes was there, so I'll give him a share and I'll just divide it by 5. And then anything that comes out of today's session would be stuff that Mist can take a share of because he wasn't there. His character wasn't there last time. Okay. All right. So, anybody want to do anything in particular during this festival that's going on in the celebration?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, go on,
Oh,
sorry.
yes. Please. What did you want to do?
Wait, me or Omu? Because Omu said yes as well, I think. Or am I wrong?
Yeah, I was about to say yes, but you go ahead first.
Okay. 10 let us know. What do you want to do during this festival, the celebration?
Well, I would say that if I definitely want to go to the inn, if that wasn't clear, and just kind of for now, watch the bards and stuff. Would the rest of the party be going with me, or would I be by myself?
Well, it's kind of up to them how much time they spend at the inn or not. Everybody has rooms at the inn, and at least for this night, all of you will be all of you who don't already have a room there will be given a free room tonight because of your hero status. Now,
Hmm.
if you stay there additional nights, then the innkeeper will talk to you about paying for the room.
Hmm.
But for tonight, each of you gets uh, a bed to yourself in a room that's either a fully private room or where you share the room, like two different beds and two people are in there, and some of the rooms have four beds with four people in there. But
Okay.
you get your own bed and your own, little trunk to put your stuff in before you turn in for the night and that kind of stuff.
That's
Where
cool.
is the party being held?
The party is out in the green and in the inn. So during the day, you'll get some people that are telling stories and playing some games and playing some music outside, and then as the sun goes down, that'll gradually move inside, and that will all happen. But yes, you have a number of people who are there that whoever's moving your microphone around,
Sorry, that's
go ahead. Yeah, if you could mute yourself when you do that. It sounds like you're trying to scratch a hole in it. Okay.
I feel that. I'm sorry, whoever's doing that. I feel that. I feel it. Is that meaning I understand your struggle?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. 'Cause it's you never hear that when you do it on your end. Okay, so let's see.
And then there's also some kind of minor emergency going on in real life, and you're also, and
Oh,
then you're
no.
like, oh no, and the microphone is scratching. But apologies.
Oh,
No, I'm sorry for whatever emergency is happening. I hope
It's no,
everything's
it's
okay.
not. No. It's like, isn't like a spilled drink. Like it's not that
Oh.
level of emergency.
oh.
Like it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Okay. Let's do this, and yes.
I'm sorry. If it wasn't
Okay.
clear, I just want to go where the party's at. Like
Yeah.
beds.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was gonna say, and we don't have to role play it out in detail, but yeah, I'd want to go and enjoy a festival that is effectively in my honor. I mean, I have a share of the honor, but yeah, in my honor.
Okay. One of the bards who is actually traveling with a caravan from the capital out to Hofsland, and they have stopped in Dedale for the day. One of the bards is an elf of some small renown, and her name is Gurnys. Gurnys. I'm going to put that in the Discord for everyone. So Gurnys, she sings some songs of heroes vanquishing evil, and she talks about the dashing, handsome heroes uh, fighting off the hordes of enemies, and the brave women cutting down their foes in front of them. And so she just makes everybody sound very heroic. And somebody has mentioned some names to her. So every now and then you hear a reference to Adora, or you hear a reference to an Omu, or you hear a reference to Siren. Then there's another bard that gets up and he tells some stories. And this bard is a human, and he's a very low key fellow, and you can
Low
tell that.
key or like low key, the god.
Oh no, low key,
Oh,
LOW, low key. You can tell that because of how he refers to himself. He refers to himself as Lord Searoar Moonshadow, bard extraordinaire. So you can tell he really doesn't have a high opinion of himself. And he tells some stories about so Lord Searoar Moonshadow. He tells the following tales. In his telling of the events that happened at the in the inn, there is one telling that Lord Searoar says where Omu bit the arm off of a ghoul with his bare teeth. And then another story that he tells says that Siren chopped halfway through a bugbear's head or a bugbear's neck and then ripped the rest of his head off with his bare hands. So clearly he has a flair for the dramatic. And he tells the story of how there were two damsels in need of rescue. There was Sylvia, the fire-haired elf, that was about to be eaten by the threatening ogre, and there was Dora, the fair fighter, who was about to be ravished by a bunch of zombies. And the heroes jumped in and bravely saved them both. Now, Dora, that doesn't quite sound right, but he makes it sound really good.
he's what is his charisma? Like, would you call him handsome, or is he like, eh?
Let's put it this way.
Oh no.
If you haven't had anything to drink, his charisma is probably about an 11 or a 12. But he acts like his charisma is 20. He thinks he is all that and a bag of chips. And
so he's not attractive.
He's not the most handsome fellow you've laid your eyes on in this whole mess. There's a couple of cute soldiers over there, and there's a decent looking fella that looks like he's maybe an apprentice of the blacksmith that's over there, and whatnot. So there's some handsome guys around, but the bard definitely thinks like every female in the place should be swooning for him, and not many are.
This sounds like too many dudes from real life. My goodness.
I feel like you got her with that blacksmith. Like that, there's some blacksmith in the background, He's ripped from just working on breastplate and anvils all day, but he's shy, like, cause he's not in the middle of the, you know what I mean? He's just kind of in the background, like, and he doesn't really feel comfortable at a party like this. Like, that is boom. As opposed to this bard. You know what? I bet Omu fucking loves that bard though. That bard that has added in details, like that Omu bit a ghoul's like throat out, like 100%. Like Omu is he seeks him out, he gets him a drink, and is like, yeah, like let me tell you this, tastes better than ghoul flesh. Like he tries to fuel the flames that he is like some kind of like hero, but no doubt that bard is not a hit with the lady.
Yes, and when the occasional rather drunk 2 or 3 pair of women, or 2 or 3 women will come up and try to talk to the bard, you will see that he definitely tries to angle himself to talk to the whichever one he thinks is most attractive, and he expects you to be kind of the wingman who deals with his cast-offs.
But
that
he's the
not- So yeah, Omu finds himself, rather occasionally talking to several women, and it's like, oh, well, there was a cute one there. Where's she? Oh, that bard is trying to, chase her around the room. It's clear that she's like trying to get away, and he just keeps
Really?
following her.
Really? Well, if she's trying to get away from him, then I would probably distract the bard by telling him that Wes's elf character, Sylvia, was actually looking for him, but I can't
don't
see
do
where
that
she
to
is.
her.
100%.
Why would you?
100%. And because number one, she can take care of herself, and number two, that bard is kind of gonna deserve what he gets.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
So and she was also like, human men are gross. and so
he's the
that bard,
grossest of them all. Perfect.
and
She
so
will end him.
she's gonna. I mean, I would have left him to it if the cute one was into him, but like if she's not, then and besides, you never know. Like maybe slowly be like, well, he's it. Oh,
That
a
would
bard.
be hilarious.
Yeah. But yeah, so I would do that, and then we don't have to role play it out. But Omu is 100% the type to, at like a village festival like this. Omu is, I think, age is, I have it down somewhere. He's 33. So there's probably a reasonably good looking widow or something in town. I mean, it's like the Middle Ages, right? She won't be a divorcee. You know what I mean?
Right, absolutely.
So she's a widow, like she's lonely, whatever. Maybe she looks kind of nice. That's Omu's speed. But whoever, he's a caravan guard by trade. So this is probably why he even continued to be involved in the dungeon.
Yeah,
And I
there you
hope that
go.
There'd be a great festival for us.
Okay. All right. So we will say that Omu will find he'll find himself a widow, and let's just do a quick thing here. So
Hopefully she inherited a lot of money from her husband. No, it's not that.
Yeah.
You'd have to be very luckily. You would probably have to roll for that if she has a rich husband.
No, I don't think so. It's like a super small village. Like, you know what I mean? She probably, if there is a widow around, she probably has a reasonably tragic life. She probably is. Like, her sweetheart probably died. You know what I mean?
Okay.
If she's in her 30s, then she's a widow.
Yeah. So there's a reasonably attractive widow. Her name is Madeline Wargrove. And let me go ahead and put that in I gotta do that. and then do that. Okay. So, Wargrove Widow from. Okay. She is a widow from one of the local farms. Her husband, her poor departed husband, he took a job, not even as a guard, but as a driver on a caravan a few months ago during the winter season when they couldn't be harvesting and they couldn't be planting. And he drove the caravan all the way to the capital. And it was during a time when there was sleet and some snow. And he died, not even any kind of heroic death. He got a cold, and it festered and it got infected, and he died while he was in the capital city. And so she's got several brothers, and her husband has had several brothers. So there's been cousins and nephews and things that have been able to help out with the farm work. So things are going. She's living with her mother-in-law with her two small children. She's got children who are 8 and 4, and she thinks it's wonderful now that the bandits have been dealt with. Um, and she appreciates the attention that Omu pays her. And so she will let Omu pay as much or as little attention to her as he wishes. And
Yeah. Oh,
we
and
can leave
Omu
it at
would.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Omu won't be a dick to her or do anything. The more interesting drama is is what happens with our youngest party member and this shy apprentice blacksmith who is
Thank you.
Okay. Let me double check for a couple of people that I haven't heard from in a few minutes. Was there anything in particular that Merrick wanted to do or that Trophim wanted to do
No.
during this celebration? Okay.
Just sitting down like, this is boring.
Okay. Elsie, anything that Siren would want to do during this time?
No, Siren's quite awkward in a big crowd and is unaccustomed to all of this, so he's probably just also standing in a corner trying to keep.
Y'all should talk. Talk about
Okay.
how stupid
Well,
this party is.
you get Siren gets lots of slaps on the back from appreciative caravanners and from townsfolk. Every time somebody tells a story about something heroic, they all turn to you, raise their mugs, and they drink their mugs. Um, Siren can pace himself however he wants to, either drink as much or as little as he wishes. If you really quickly realize that if your mug stays full, people don't try to push another mug in front of you. But if you let your mug get empty, it will soon be replaced by a full one again. So uh, Siren will figure out whether he wants to, how much or how little he wants to do with that. And there's, with all the heroic stories being told, there's a share of, um, you know, uh, you know, coy, coquettish female admirers that will sort of bat their eyes your way, or ooh and ah appreciatively when somebody says something heroic about what Siren has done. So, he can respond to that however he wishes. But yeah, Dora, you
Where is
eventually
the elf lady?
uh
Being
the elf
chased by
lady
that bard.
the elf lady Bard or the elf lady Syria or Sylvia?
The elf lady as the bard, elf lady bard.
Oh, um, she kind of makes a circuit. She will come in sometimes and she will sing songs and play stories inside the inn. And then she will go out on the green and she will sing stories and play songs. And you notice that people, there seems to be a genuine appreciation for her music and song. And it's like, Lord, you know, this this Lord Searoar Moonshadow, he kind of really has to try to drag it out of people. And he identifies the people that are the most drunk in the crowd, and he sort of plays to them, and they'll start to yell and cheer and um almost obnoxiously. And then it's kind of, there's other people that, oh well, that guy thinks it's good, so maybe I should be clapping too. And that's kind of how he tends to uh, get his crowd going, is by
At least he's smart. At least he knows how to not bomb.
yeah.
So she's an actually good bard. Like she's not that
Yeah.
he's a better player, she's a better player, but she seems to, the people, if they're not drunk, still appreciate her.
Yeah, because she mixes in, she's definitely going to, she realizes that people want to celebrate and they want to think of the um, local heroes as heroes. So she does that, but she's not going to overdo it or turn it into something, sappy and melodramatic. Uh, Everything with Lord Searor is either, it sounds like he turns everything into either a soap opera or an episode of the Jerry Springer show. He's just he's just he's like that level of schmaltz, just where the overly dramatic in a way that it doesn't need to be.
So I want to seek her out, and I don't
Okay.
even truly want to have a conversation with her. She just kind of wants to go up to her in almost an urgency for a moment and just kind of pat her like, "Hey, may I speak to you for a moment?"
Oh, why, certainly. And you're Dora. You're one of the heroes from the dungeon, aren't you?
Ah, quite, I am. But she kind of smiles and blushes to herself. I heard your lovely song, and my group mates did too. And she points to, a corner where not many people are, to a person who's just kind of on the wall. And she goes, "My companion in the story, Siren, actually asked to see you."
Oh, he did.
Mm.
Oh, I understand he was quite the hero.
Quite. I'm glad you could acknowledge that. You see, I would say not a lot of people understand and are, how would you say, intellectual enough to understand him. And he saw that you are quite the intelligent, especially the way you would craft your words.
Oh, well, that's very flattering. Thank you, Dora. Thank you. Well, I will make a point to seek him out a little later. Um,
Perfect.
After I
Thank you.
finish my next set of songs.
Well, good luck with that. Thank you so much. I bet he'll be very glad to make you acquainted.
Oh, I hope so. It'll be interesting to hear his stories. And she gives you a warm smile as you go off. And then you notice at some point during this next set of songs, you notice that um, she sings a song that is about the um, she sings a song that's about the blacksmith who saves the day by making a weapon for the hero. And you you kind of turn your head and you see this sort of young handsome blacksmith over there, and he's kind of looking a little bit self-conscious. And when you turn and look at him, it's like he kind of turns and looks at you and gives you like a little shy smile, but then he turns back away and he takes a drink from his mug, and he seems very uncomfortable, um, and he just sort of stays off over there, but he seems to be enjoying her song about the blacksmith. Uh, so that goes on, and then at some point in the evening, um, Elsie, we will get to you in a little bit, but at some point in the evening, um, each of you are approached by uh, a town guard, and they will lead you to understand that the city council or the village council members would like to see you in a private dining room um, in the first floor of the inn.
At what
And
time?
apparently now.
Of course, they want to take us from our party. Freaking.
Yeah, yeah. So there's there's a couple of people that okay. So we're gonna do the map.
Oh, it's the. Okay, never mind. They're not old. Those guys.
Yeah. There's okay. There's somebody else I need to get. I need to bring him back over here. I'm going to bring this up to. Okay. Let's bring Tofum over here. Oops. Back there. Let's bring Merrick over here. Let's bring Dora over here. Okay. All right. So, what we have is we have. Oops. This is going to be Merrick. A-R-I-C-K. Okay. And then this is going to be nope. She has access to that. And then this is going to be Trophim. Okay. All right. So you guys are here. Oh, and am I missing? I'm missing Omu. So let me go grab Omu.
He's too busy with the lady.
Classic Omu.
Omu can't be found on the map for another 8 hours. Anyway.
Okay. All right. So, there's a private dining room. 4 of the members of the village council, so basically everyone except the village elder, come over to meet with you. And I'm just going to recenter us on this room here. And they invite you all to take seats. There's a merry fire going here in the fireplace. You have, for those of you who haven't met them yet, you have Elmo, who is a son of one of the old families in town. He is a capable fighter, and he kind of speaks slowly, but he seems to think a lot about what he says before he says anything. There's Tuck, who is the cleric from the All Faith Shrine. There is McKeith, who's a dwarf who walks with a bit of a limp, and he is kind of the you might say he's the elder statesman of the village council. And then there's Zert, who is a woodsman who was the guide originally for the party in going out and finding the moat house, because he had noticed that bandits were operating out of that moat house, and that's what led to the town hiring adventurers to go do something about it. So they want to give you all a bit of a report on what they have learned from questioning Lareth. I actually want to talk to you about 2 things. The first thing that they want to talk to you about is the deed to the moat house. They say that they have good news, that the village council has met and they have taken a vote, and unanimously they have agreed to turn over the deed to the moat house to your adventuring company. Now, that is the first stage in a lengthy process. Basically, they explain that they have to now write a petition that will go to the provincial capital at Olenathius. The provincial records will have to be verified to make sure that there's not anybody who currently has a claim on that deed. Once they determine that, they will send out some surveyors to be sure that the provincial records are all correct on exactly where this structure is located, what condition it's in, where it lands in all of the parcels in terms of the taxing authorities that it's in. Once they're satisfied with all of that, and they get the provincial surveyors and assessors to sign off on it, then they have to send it to the imperial capital. And the imperial capital, it has to go through the Office of Land Records there. And they once again have to go through and verify that there's no competing claims on this particular piece of property. And there is a clerk that is duly appointed by the Empress herself, may she live forever, who is in charge of then transferring the title and deed from, if it's an abandoned piece of property, assigning it to a certain group. And then that all has to go back and get approved at every step of the way back to the village council. So you're probably looking at best case somewhere between 6 months and a year before you actually will get a piece of paper in your hands that say that you hold the deed to this place. But the good news is that as far as the village council is concerned, they think you all deserve to have this piece of property. They also will help to draw up some agreements between the village and your adventuring company as a group, and between the village council and each of you as individual adventurers. And these basically these contracts will give you shares of ownership in that deed, and will set out a basically set out the responsibilities that you have as individuals and as an adventuring company for, renovating, maintaining, upkeeping the spot. And then as each of you get to a point where you're able to start attracting your own followers and building your own strongholds, it will sort of apportion out how do you basically get your share bought out by the other members of the adventuring company, so you can take your share. And if you decide to go off a few miles and build your own stronghold, you basically get paid for your share of the investment you've made over time in building up that moat house. So they'll hand wave all of that, and they'll tell you that they'll work with you over the coming weeks to get those contracts all built. So that's the first thing. And then they will ask if anybody has any questions about that.
I mean, I think it makes sense. Like certainly it taking some time to actually get the paperwork through. It is. I mean, this is an era, I think, without a printing press. So people literally have to sign it, wax seals. It's got to be brought on horseback back and forth. It all made sense to me.
Okay. All right.
Would we be able to live and renovate the area before we receive the deed, or should we wait until all of that is taken care of?
They will tell you that they would allow you to start making renovations. They would remind you that as a village, they have kind of a small budget. So if you wind up spending a whole bunch of money and then for some reason there's some snafu, the Empress decides that that exact parcel of land would be perfect for her third cousin's nephew. And so she just by fiat says, okay, no, I'm going to give it to him. Then if you have spent a whole lot of your own money already doing renovations, the village council would have a hard time, repaying you for that. So if you start renovations, they would caution you to go slow until you actually get the deed, and then knock yourselves out on upgrading it as fast as you want to, or as fast as you can afford to upgrade it. Because if something happens, they probably could give you, as a group, they could probably maybe repay you 1,000 gold per month that you spent. Like if you spend 4,000 gold over 4 months and then something goes sideways, they could probably pay you back for that. But if you spend 10,000 gold in 4 months and something goes sideways, well, you'll get 4,000 from them. And then if you really want more, you have to take a trip to the Imperial capital and take it up with the Empress.
All right, good to know.
Yeah, so they just sort of kind of give you that little bit of a heads up. They don't expect any issues, but anytime you have imperial monarch that can just decide, oh, I get to make the rules, and anything is possible.
Yeah, or if we annoy them in any way or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So between the records that you all found and what they classify as some enhanced interrogation techniques that they have used on Lareth, they have learned some additional information. That the lair that Bargle keeps is somewhere on that road between the moat house and the keep of Duke Thaden. So let me go to the map, because I do have this map here and I can show this to you and let you know where this is. Okay, so on the map that you guys have, this is the Dale. This is where you are. The moat house it's not pictured on here, but it's probably, somewhere out here, like where the D in Dale is kind of where the moat house was. Duke Thaden's Keep is a day's ride south from Dale. So somewhere between that moat house and the keep is where Bargle's lair is. They have also learned from their questioning that that there are indeed some, what they gather are spies for this cult that are in Duke Thaden's keep. So there's some people that live and operate there that are actually spying for this organization that Lareth and Bargle are a part of. And as far as they know, those people probably report directly to Bargle. But they have learned that, just as Lareth told you when you were questioning him, Bargle is kind of a small cog in this organization. At least that's the same story that Lareth is telling them. And that he actually reports to somebody who is in the provincial capital of Olenathius, which is several days south of where you all are. So they have not had any more success than you have of getting a name of this power that they serve. They're just referring to this power as a dark goddess. And they have already sent riders out to Hofsland and Olenathius. From Olenathius, they expect a detachment of Imperial guards will bring the prisoner back to the provincial capital for further questioning. They probably have ways of putting him under some magical compulsion, getting more information out of him than they're able to do here in Dale. But while they are waiting for those guards, which they think could take as long as 3 or 4 days to get here, depending on how long it is before their messenger can get an audience with the provincial governor, and then what the governor decides to do, and then when they send people actually out here, it could be a few days before they get back here. In between now and then, they would really love it if somebody could go and find this lair that Bargle has and do some reconnaissance on it. if somebody could go gather intelligence, scout the place out, determine the strength of the defenses, that would be wonderful. And then if whoever goes out there manages to actually get inside the lair and bring back any material intelligence in the form of documents or captives or anything, that would be even better. And what would especially be helpful is any evidence to support the claims of Lareth that he and Bargle are both cogs in a larger organization, and whether there are any operatives in the provincial government itself. If somebody could find any names or titles or positions of authority of anyone that may be promoting worship of this, in quotes, dark lady, that would be a huge benefit and very valuable to the provincial governor and perhaps even to the imperial crown itself. And the village council is prepared to pay each of you 500 gold pieces to go investigate this lair. And then, just as with the moat house, if you find any treasure or anything like that, then as long as there's not anyone that they can identify that's living that property was stolen from, you guys can keep it. Now, unfortunately, based on the way the districts are all set up, Dedale's authority extends about as far as the moat house and doesn't go any further. So if there were anything that happened with that particular layer, once you find out what it is and whether it's a structure, whether it's a building, that would actually have to be the count that would have to decide what would happen with that. So they're not going to make you any offers or any promises in terms of property related to that. That's for someone else to decide. They can only deal with things as far away as that moat house. So they would like you to consider that, and they will ask you to take the evening to think about it, and they'll check in with you again tomorrow morning to see what your thoughts are. Unless anybody has any questions about that request now.
I would probably have, because out of character, we will discuss it. I would, before I go back to them, anything, certainly want to leave it until the next day, so that there was an opportunity for us to go, do we want to do this, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Rather than committing to anything that
Oh,
the
sure.
others might not want to.
Sure, they figure everybody's having a good time, but they thought this was important enough to bring it to your attention now, and let you know that, okay, now that you all are heroes, well, there's plenty of work for heroes.
It's true. It's true. And also, well, I mean, we can discuss it with them in the morning, but it's only reconnaissance that they're looking for, just to basically find the location of the currently hypothetical layer, and then report that back, and an actual armed, force with strength of numbers can go and take it on.
Right, because their thinking is, well, if Lareth reports to Bargle and it turns out that Lareth had, not an insubstantial number of soldiers there, well, Bargle may have more soldiers. So sending just a bunch of you guys or a few of you guys out there, you might get overwhelmed if you tried to brute force the place. But of course, you all are heroes. You're resourceful. You're powerful.
Hmm.
So, if you get out
Okay.
there and you decide, no, we can knock this anthill over too,
Sure.
then you could go do that. But yeah, they're not asking you to go and um, arrest anyone. They're saying the minimum we want is to figure out where it is, and if you can give an idea of how well it's defended. Anything over and beyond that is gravy. And for doing the bare minimum, they'll give you each 500 gold.
Okay. It's not bad. It's not a bad deal. But I certainly would be like, we'll give you our confirmation, or a response in the morning.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions or things they want
No.
to ask the village council at this point? Okay. All right. Well, in that
Alright.
case, oh, go ahead.
All right. I'm literally the worst. Are any of them old enough to maybe know if they knew Randall like face to face, like knew him personally? Do any of them look old enough to maybe know him?
Oh yes. They all remember Bargle.
It's Randall. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think actually in the session notes from one of the early sessions, there's some information about Bargle, but the Cliff's notes of that was that Bargle was a young magic user with a wife who moved to Dedale 15 years ago, had a house. A couple of years later, started a family. He had to travel to Hofsland and to the capital and to the keep on occasion. One of the times while he was gone, there was a fire at his house. And even though neighbors tried to help, his wife and their young child were killed in the fire. So they couldn't be saved. So then Bargle came back and he kind of increasingly threw himself into his research, and he began researching ways that he could basically cheat death. And
Necromancy?
yeah, ways that he could either prevent people from dying or even bring people back from the dead. And some of his experiments led to like some strange happenings around the town. And then there was one night that a monster ran through town and killed several people. And Bargle was able to stop that monster, but they later found out that the monster was actually some kind of otherworldly entity that Bargle had summoned as part of his research, and it got away from him, and it went and killed these other people. So pretty soon after that, the village council said, "All right, Bargle, if you're going to live here, your research has to stop." He didn't want to stop his research, and when he kept trying, they eventually uh, made it clear to him that if he didn't stop researching, they were going to arrest him. So he left, and that was maybe 10 years ago that he left, and they haven't seen him since. And then it was just a few months earlier that they began to notice different groups of monstrous humanoids like goblins and orcs and gnolls and other people uh, looking a lot more organized than they normally do. And they all had this strange symbol on. And when they captured a few of them, they called that symbol the symbol of Bargle. And so that's what led everybody to think that initially Bargle was behind it. But now it seems like if this Lareth is telling the truth, that both Lareth and Bargle may be caught up in something much larger
That
than
there's
just
and Bargle is just someone underneath someone far more nefarious and weird.
yeah. And that if it is a larger organization, they apparently all serve this in quotes dark lady.
Whew. Unsettling.
Yeah. And from what Lareth told you last week, at least he believes that this dark lady is going to return the Sylvan Empire to its glory days.
Hmm.
Instead of being an empire in decline, it will once again flourish and grow, and it will bring order and order to the rest of the world, and it will subjugate the rest of the peoples of the world.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I do actually quite want to find that lair. but
Yeah.
but maybe if we make them sweat a little overnight, we can increase our fee. Ooh,
Yeah.
500 gold pieces? Sounds like amateur adventurer money. Anyway, no, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that.
Okay. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and call for a break right now. I have 47 after. Let's go ahead and take a break to the top of the hour. And then we will come back and we will figure out what everybody wants to do for the rest of the session. I'll try to get a quick count of the gold that everybody gets from
Okay.
disposition of the mundane equipment, and then we'll see what we want to do from there.
Cool.
All right. And I'm going to put the music on so you guys can either mute or hang around and chat or whatever.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay. Welcome back, everybody. All right.
Hey there.
You guys now have a little bit of money from liquidating the armor mundane weapons, and other loot that you got from you brought from the complex out there. Everyone will receive 172 gold pieces and 2 silver pieces. So that's divided 5 ways. So each of you who are here, at least looks like each of you who are here now that were here last week can add 172 gold and 2 silver to your wealth. And then you can use that to buy anything that you want to equip yourselves with going forward. Now, that is just strictly loot. If you did not go back and read the session notes, there was some loose coin that was already accounted for, and there was some indication of how much each person got to add to their share. So go back and check the notes and make sure you account for that as well.
Okay.
Cool. Very cool. So then, assuming that we've had the festivities of the evening and everything, I would when the blacksmith's place is open, I would just want to get myself a little dagger just as a backup.
Okay, dokey. Daggers are pretty cheap in this edition. Weapons. Let's see. So, dagger is going to set you back. Now, you can buy a normal dagger for 3 gold, or if you want to get fancy and you want to get a silver dagger, you can get a silver dagger for 30 gold.
Ooh, you know what? With it being old school, and with there being a much greater threat of death, I don't want to kick myself for not having a silver dagger later. So I think
Okay.
I'll push the boat out, and I'll get a nice silver dagger, which also means it looks nice too, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's tasteful. It's a tastefully made dagger. The blacksmith will proudly tell you that his best apprentice made the dagger, and you notice a rather shy-looking blacksmith's apprentice, very strapping-looking lad.
There
That
he is.
sort of blushes when his mentor gives him a compliment about that. But you can see it's very finely made, and the silver is just sort of worked in on the edge where it enhances the cutting edge, so that as you slice into something, it will get in contact with that silver. So if you fight anything that cares about silvered weapons, you'll be good.
Perfect. I will compliment him on the handiwork. That sounds intricate. Sorry, go ahead.
Quick question.
Sure.
Are we going to get are there any weapons left?
Oh, there. This pretty much means that all the stuff that you guys had was sold, but you can purchase weapons. Was there anything that you wanted to buy in particular?
Quick question. How do wands work in this edition? Or staffs? Wands.
Magic wands. Okay, those are gonna be kind of expensive, so you probably aren't gonna be able to find one for sale here in this town. Um, Perhaps when you get, if you get as far as the keep, or definitely when you get to a larger city, you could buy one of those. There is a formula for what the cost is, and it's actually in one of the session notes.
Yeah, but how much? How do they work in this edition?
Oh, how do they actually work? Well, usually they have a command word or something. And so you point your wand at whatever your target is, and you say the command word. And if it's a spell, like it shoots out lightning or it shoots out magic missiles or whatever, then when you issue the command word, the spell fires off and it uses a charge. That's how it
Okay.
works. Yeah. All right. Anybody
Cool.
else want to buy anything?
Um. Oh. I, shouldn't we go first to the boat's house and then we can go to the keep or the lair?
Are we doing that now?
I mean, I'd prefer if we'd go to the boat's house, like finish exploring everything there, then continue to the other areas.
So sorry, I might have missed a bit. So have we like slept and the night is done and
Yeah, unless there was anything that you all wanted to do in the evening. If not, we'll just say that you had a good night's rest.
so I don't get to know if I talk to the bard or not. Whatever
Oh,
happened with the lady in so Siren?
oh, oh, and Siren. Okay, well, um, she will, uh, she will kind of coyly approach Siren at some point, and will compliment him, saying that he was quite the hero. Uh, and does he respond in any way to that?
Yeah, I would say thank you and say, well, thank you very much. I've enjoyed your sing. She's the bard, right? I've enjoyed your
Yeah.
singing very much this evening.
Oh, well, thank you. It's not often that we get to play our songs for genuine heroes. Sounds like you all had quite the adventure.
It was quite exciting. This is actually my first time I've ever been on an adventure. So I've been pretty new to this whole thing.
Oh, really? So, but from the stories I've heard, you were quite brave. Now, the I won't put much stock into what that crazy Lord Siror says, but one of your companions was actually telling me that you stood in front of some charging bugbears. Is that true?
Well, I honestly don't like to brag much, but yes, I was decided to be the front line while my companions did all the real work of taking down the bugbear. All I was doing was just standing still and trying not to get hit.
Oh, you're far too modest. You're far too modest. And she actually notices a place where it looks like your uh, armor has a little damage, and she reaches up and she says, "Oh, very brave cut. Did you get any scars from the battle?"
I haven't had time to check yet. This is still the armor I wore in battle, so I guess I'll have to
Oh,
find out later this evening.
oh, well, You know, I come from a long line of healers, and people account me as having very good healing hands. If you would like me to inspect your wounds and maybe see if I could make them feel better for you.
That would be much appreciated. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, she plays a little bit more, and Dora, at some point in the evening after she plays, you see her walking up the stairs, holding hands with Siren as they head off to presumably his room.
Oh, wait.
So
I left for like 5 seconds. You're getting laid?
He
I just
like
assumed he was gonna
the
heal.
yeah, the Elven Bard lady. She was like I don't
Oh,
know.
she's gonna heal him. Ah.
Well, I mean, there seems to
Siren.
be more to it. I don't know.
If
Yeah,
it's gonna happen,
Siren.
Siren is unawares
Go
at this
get some.
point.
yeah, Sarah, and I always like to play my games PG-13. So if Siren,
Low
what
performance.
happens in
Yeah.
Siren's room will stay in Siren's room unless
Yeah,
Siren wants to let the rest of the
yeah.
party know about it. So
I've already made up
She
my
is a
mind what
bard.
happened.
She might be
Uh,
singing about that if he does well.
well, she might be, but
Siren didn't even have to try. He's a natural. He's just hanging out.
Well,
He
I
was
mean,
just like,
I did half the work. I was like, look, this guy over
Yeah,
there.
You did have to work, and then the bard did the other half. She was like,
So Siren did nothing.
"Were you? Yeah, anything? Were you injured in the battle? Maybe. I don't know. I don't really like to brag. Okay. Would you? I'm actually very talented in healing. All right, sounds good. You can heal me, sure. Here's this is my room number.
That's what,
DM, I have to say thank you so much for being so sweet because she's a bard. She could be like, I can get anybody I want, but she was like, he was
I
like,
know,
yeah,
but she
whatever.
wanted
And she was like,
Siren.
oh my god, he's so like,
She wanted
he
a
just
real
doesn't
hero.
care. It's amazing.
Yeah,
she
he's
didn't
cool.
want to move.
Yeah, she wouldn't want to move. She's also an elf, and I don't know what canon we're establishing. But, elves might be like humans are awful hairy and burly for like an elf.
Also, Umu is getting laid by the widow, so I don't know if he wants the threesome.
Yeah, Omu is
Like-
providing a public service for this town
Wow.
again and again.
Public, you say?
What an amazing night. What a great night.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Where the
go ahead.
can I know where the what's his face? The sweet
The
bar
little
Blacksmith?
kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen,
Well,
if I'm
the-
gonna get him laid, I want to get too. It's not fair if I just sit
No,
here.
that's gonna be the irony. That will
They-
end up being the irony. The blacksmith
they-
is too shy.
Yeah, the blacksmith will kind of stand off in the corner, looking kind of shy, and whatnot. So basically, if he's very unassuming, so if Dora doesn't talk to him, he will eventually, after he finishes enough of his drinks, he will eventually go off back to his wherever he spends the night and wait to get up the next morning and resume his duties as a blacksmith.
I'm
So-
going to try to hit 2 birds in 1 stone, and while he's going off to his house, I'm gonna try to like catch up to him and just like give him a kind of tap on the shoulder, just like a excuse me.
Oh, hello, milady. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. You?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. Can I help you with something?
it's funny you ask. You definitely can. And she kind of looks away, kind of like, oh, woe is me. And as she says, I know that this sounds not very believable. But uh in the inn, there's so many people here at this time, and my friends all got room. Well, they didn't have enough room for me to stay, and I just, I don't want to stay out in the cold, and I also don't want to walk all the way back to the boathouse. I, I don't know if you have a home. Maybe I could the night in.
Oh, well, yes, I'm sure that the blacksmith's wife has an extra room that she could make up for you. I'm just the apprentice, and if she doesn't have room, well, you can use my room, and I can always go sleep in the forge tonight.
She smiles. Oh, I would never do such a thing as to kick you out of your own room. I can sleep on the floor. I think that would be good enough.
Oh, well, now you must be new here in town, 'cause you wouldn't. I don't know if Mistress Luhan would like that. Um, me having a lady who's not related to me. Well, and he blushes very deeply. He's trying to stammer over his words, trying to uh, you know trying to figure out
Just
how he's going to get
laugh.
out of this. Yeah. It gracefully. And he he then seems like to realize that it's a little bit chilly, and so he has kind of a cloak on, and he pulls his cloak off and he offers it to you, to put it around your shoulders if you're kind of cold. Um, he'll try to be gallant, uh, in sort of a uh, very humble, rural, country bumpkin kind of way.
You're so sweet. Well, my character.
Oh, 10, your mic cut out. Oh, okay.
This is the part where I just hope. Oh, go on. 10's back, I think.
Oh no! I was saying Discord being Discord. It logged me out for a second.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
All
Sorry.
right. Yeah,
No.
we missed your whatever you were gonna say there.
Thank you. I was honestly, hilariously, I was gonna say that like she grew up on a farm as well, and also, you know, is Umo getting laid or is he around?
Last we checked, Omu was talking with the widow.
Yeah, I would probably think that, especially if you chased after him when he left for the little kind of blacksmith and home that he lives in. I don't know if you'd be able to find Omo because he'd be reasonably far away.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll assume.
Also, these widows got to move fast. She never knows when the next one's gonna die.
Wow.
So we'll say that
Sorry.
just to make things easy for Dora, we'll say that the um, blacksmith gets back to the house or the blacksmith's apprentice gets back to the house where he lives, and this is the kind of village where when you are apprenticed to the blacksmith, you live with his family. So there's like a room that they have set aside for him, and when he walks in. He will dutifully make sure to rouse the blacksmith and his wife, who are not, they're not asleep. They're kind of in the kitchen talking.
Oh.
And the blacksmith's wife will insist on setting up a bedroll on the floor in the living room in front of the fire, and will tell the apprentice that he's going to sleep there, and will then make sure that there's fresh sheets and pillows and everything in the apprentice's room, and will assign that to you for the night. And she is the kind of woman that, as you look at her, you realize, just sort of from the looks that pass among people, that inside this house, that's her domain. And both the apprentice and her husband do exactly what they're told. And so,
Oh my god.
Yeah, 100%. She absolutely just laid the law down. Like,
yeah,
he's a good guy though. He's
God.
a good kid. That blacksmith apprentice.
yeah,
To
yeah,
remind
yeah.
my own grandmother, this isn't good. I just got put in
Yeah,
some
I
family
mean-
matters I didn't want to. I should have just been like, come back to my place. But no, I was like, let me do it this way.
He literally didn't seem. I mean, as he might not, he didn't seem to understand.
Yeah,
So, is there a place I can stay? Well, I could clear out the barn for you. Not really what I had in mind.
Lady comes running up to you after a party and is like, hey, can I stay at your house? She isn't asking for a place to stay. Who thinks that?
I
Of
know.
course. Oh, you've
It's
just
true.
risen out of the club? Of course. I'll give you a place to lay your head tonight.
Oh, he's learning.
Yeah, but this is when I didn't want him to learn. That's not what I wanted him to learn. It was other things.
Oh no.
Fine, I will reluctantly kind of, yes, ma'am, and go and sleep upstairs.
Okay, all right. So you do, and in the morning when breakfast is served, the blacksmith's wife makes sure to seat you right next to the apprentice at the breakfast table, and she and the blacksmith sit side by side, and they ask you politely a little bit about you, and then they turn to the apprentice and say, okay, well, how did you two meet? Where did you you know it was so nice of you to invite her to come and stay with us. She seems like a lovely girl, and they will quickly realize, if they didn't, oh, you were with the group that was out there fighting all the monsters at the moat house. Oh, that's wonderful. And they will say, oh, I bet you she could use a fine weapon, and they will talk up how well this young man, which, let me go ahead and give you a name so you know what to call him. Yes. His name is Herrick Sheds, is the family name.
Oh, Harry.
Oops, come on. Oh, there it is. Herrick Sheds. Herrick Sheds with a Z.
Do you have a picture in mind of him?
No, I'll leave that up to you.
Oh, perfect. You know me.
He's just he's He is a blacksmith's apprentice, so think of someone who's probably got a large upper body.
Oh, don't you worry. I already have a picture for it.
Okay, all right, cool.
He's a good kid. He's a good kid, Harry. 100%. When I get that dagger, I'm winking at Harry because I, to be honest, I thought a lot more would happen than that, and I guess Omu does too. So when I buy that dagger, and Harry is the one that actually made it as an apprentice, I'm gonna. There is no medieval equivalent of like little finger guns, but I would do that at him.
You invent finger guns.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like I maybe give him a little clap on the shoulder. You know, yeah, yeah. I hear you're quite the apprentice, and he 100% doesn't know what that means or what it's in reference to, because Dora was on the living room floor.
As an innuendo, like
it's not really an innuendo, I guess. It's just.
What does it mean? Then we're all confused.
Nobody knows what it means. It's provocative.
Yes. Okay.
There you
go. Anyway, he's good. We'll be back, no doubt. We'll be back. We'll have to come back for our moat house. This is just the beginning.
Wait, so he's making like a little sword or something, right?
I bought a silvered dagger that he had already made. The blacksmith himself actually said the apprentice made it. And then
yes. So after breakfast they'll go out to the forge, and I guess Dora, if you want to, you can kind of go out there with them, because the blacksmith will he will want to show you some of the fine weapons that his apprentice Herrick, who's the best apprentice he's ever had, that his apprentice Herrick has made. And of course, Herrick is kind of blushing every time he gives him a compliment about this, and he shows you a couple of swords that he's made, and they're very finely crafted. Shows you a spear that he's made, and then while he's doing that, Omu walks up and wants to talk about a dagger, and so that gives the blacksmith a chance to further gloat about his apprentice, and tells Omu about this silver dagger. So yes, Omu, while you're there, you see that Dora is already there, and she's kind of got in her hand, she's got one of the farm wife's mugs from the breakfast table. So you realize, oh, she had breakfast here. So that probably even further encourages Omu to think, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, for sure.
But unlike you and Siren, she does not have almost a drunkenly smile on her face. She is frowning.
Well,
yeah.
Which may make him think other things.
Yeah, what does that mean? That could mean anything.
Crafty in bed.
Yeah. Gosh.
So,
anyway, that could be anything, though. That could be she just is tired.
So Dora, the blacksmith will, because you're he actually will wait until Omu leaves, but then after Omu leaves, he will say that because you were one of the heroes and you graced their house with your presence last night, that if there's any weapons that he has that you want, he will actually sell it to you for a little bit of a discount. So did you need any swords or extra weapons or anything, or were you thinking about any armor or stuff that he might have that you would want to upgrade from what you have?
Um. Hmm. She says, I would have to think about that. I mean, most of my sisters are, well, I would say already high paladins and knights and all of that, and they have such wonderful weapons. And, but they all have special, I would say, were crafted in a way that shows themselves through it. And I think I would like something crafted from your wonderful little apprentice, but I would have to talk to him personally, one on one, to truly get through what creative means I want in the sword. And she kind of has a smile.
And you're determined.
Yes, she is.
And so the blacksmith beams with pride, and he says, "Well, are you all are you going to come back and be staying with us again tonight? We can certainly have time for you and Herrick to sit down and talk. I heard tell with some of the village council that they were going to ask y'all to go check out some other things in the area. Are you doing that today, or are you going to be around for the day, or what? Do you know yet?"
I don't fully know at this point. I mean, it is true that we might be going out, and she's looking at her fingers, kind of like looking at her nails as she says this. But I see that you are a very hardworking man, and that the both of you have a lot to do. But she kind of
Why,
has a smile on her face.
yes, ma'am, says the blacksmith. Well, I tell you, you are welcome to come. Um, use uh, our house for your lodgings at any time that you wish. Uh, and I will make sure that you have plenty of opportunity to talk with my Harry here, my apprentice, and he will help you, or you can help him uh, discover what you need in your blade that we can craft for you.
So Omu is not there anymore.
No, Omu has gone.
She's kind of gonna look around and see that he's gone, and just kind of be like, "Damn it." Oh, wonderful. Well, I think that that would just be swell. Maybe if I have time today, I'll come back, and I may now have a place in the inn to stay. So I might be able to bring him back there. That way, we'll have privacy.
And the apprentice kind of uh, blushes, and he says, "Well, Miss Dora, you are very sweet. I look forward to discussing with you about what the needs of your weapon might be. It would be an honor and privilege to make something for a true hero like you."
She is beaming.
And we will let everybody reconvene. Um, back at the inn and figure out what the plans for the day are. So, do you all want to? I guess.
Are we at
What's
the inn?
everybody's thought? Yeah, we could say everybody's back at the inn at some point. Maybe it's mid-morning. Um,
How was losing your virginity, Siren?
Excuse me?
I don't know. We don't know what happened.
Oh,
there.
okay.
We don't know for sure. Anyway.
all right. So uh, the proposition is on the table to go and investigate where this lair of Bargle is. Elmo and Tuck, or not Elmo and Tuck, but Elmo and Zert will come by, and they will explain that the directions that they have are basically the directions that were uh, off of that note that you all found. That if you go 2 leagues south on the road, uh, it's it says there's an oak with the sign of Y, whatever that means. And then you walk an hour towards the sunset. So probably a path west off of the road. Um, and then it says where the failed in their dreams come to die. So whatever that might mean.
Did a bard write
I'd rather finish exploring the boathouse and then go do the other stuff.
Okay. So we have one vote for going back, dealing with the well and making sure that you found everything that there is to find at the moat house.
You know what? I think I'm cool with that too. I think we could go there and figure that out, and then we could discuss what was the thing with the Duke.
So we think that the Duke may have a spy working either on behalf of Bargle or for the same faction that Bargle works for. So we think there could be a spy in the Duke's keep. And additionally, we were asked to go and just try and find Bargle's lair. We don't have to go and clear it out. All we have to do is try and track it down. But if there is anything left in the moat house, I guess it does make sense to try and clear it out and confirm. Although if there is a well full of monsters, let's no pun intended. Let's dip a toe in and see how bad it is. But we might find that it's almost not worth like messing with whatever creatures are in that well. They might not be hostile. They might, you know what I mean? They might just be like wild animals. Like there's no point like wading into a swamp like just to fight a bunch of gators. You know what I mean? We don't know what they'll be like in there. They might not be a threat if you don't go in, you know?
I wish we could talk to the Knolls again. I miss them.
I think they're still around somewhere.
Yeah,
They live in the moat house.
at some point they will establish a a den of their own, and once they do, they'll probably look for an opportunity to get in touch with Siren and let him know where they are. And at that point, you guys probably have a way of getting in touch with them.
Oh yeah, isn't Siren like the king of the Knolls now?
Yes. Yeah, he's the Lord of the Knolls.
Lord of the Knolls.
Yeah. Yeah, they love him.
First of many titles.
Yeah, I know. I know.
The Lord of the
Cool.
Knolls, the smasher of elves.
Yeah.
A lot of titles.
Okay.
Yeah, should we just try and look through? Are there any rooms in the moat house that we haven't been in, or is it just looking through and seeing if there are any secret doors in the rooms we have been in?
Okay, let's go. Are we all agreed that that's what we want to do now? Is head back there and make sure we
Mhm.
put
Hmm.
we
Oh, I know I
put
have one.
that to bed completely. All right.
Hmm.
So let me go ahead and reduce this.
I love the pond or whatever here. I love how that's drawn.
Yeah, that's actually just a pile of stuff where the ogre was. Okay, so let me. You guys know all the stuff on this level. This area here and this area here, where there's storage rooms, where there was the extra provisions and the weapons. I'm gonna basically give you guys the benefit of taking your time going through here. You discover when you get to this junction over here, you discover that there's actually something that you didn't realize here, and that is that there's a secret door.
Yay.
Awesome.
All right. And this secret door, okay, where did that? Okay, let me. Okay. Oh, and then I'm just going to. Ah, there we go. All right. It is in this area here. I'm not sure why that's not coming to the front, why that S is not showing up like it should. But anyway, there is a secret door there, and you guys will be able to find that. When you walk into this area beyond the secret door, you find several strange levers in there. And at first, you're not sure exactly what they do, but when you move them, you hear some sounds, and you realize that by process of trial and error, you realize that over here in this area, there is actually a portcullis that will lower from the ceiling and will cut off this area if you lower that. If you lower one of the levers, and when you raise it back up, it will retract back up into the ceiling. And then you will find there is another such portcullis that is over here that responds to another one of those levers. And so you now know where those are. You can raise and lower them as you wish. And then you notice that there's a couple of other levers on another wall, and you eventually realize that these are connected to some trapped doors. Because when you move those levers and leave them up, then when you walk over to this area here, you find that this door is actually open. And as you examine it kind of carefully, you realize that there's a mechanism that if it's closed and you open it, it causes some blocks in the ceiling in this room to collapse. And the same thing happens here. And then you realize that this door here, which actually goes to a blank wall, is connected back to this portcullis. So if you were to leave that lever in the down position, and then somebody were to open this door, it would actually drop that portcullis and basically block them into this area. And then there's a similar mechanism down here in this area, where this particular secret door over here is connected to this portcullis. And so if you open that, that happens. And then this door is also trapped. So that if you had that lever down and somebody opened this door, it would cause blocks in here to fall. So it's like they have some sort of rudimentary traps in this area that you all have discovered. And then when you go over here to this exit tunnel, you find that that tunnel goes. Whoops, come on. You find that this tunnel goes approximately 400 feet to the east, and it ends with a little stable. There's 2 horses, healthy riding horses, and a week's worth of provisions for the horses there in the stable. And the stable actually can hold 4 horses. So 2 horses are gone, 2 horses are there. And then that leads out into the wilderness. And there's a game trail that will take you back to the main road from that stable.
So we now have 2 horses.
So you now have 2 horses. One is a mare and one is a gelding.
I want one of those horses.
Okay. And then the last place that you haven't explored yet is, of course, at the base of the stairs, where you're expecting to find the well. And presuming you all will go in here, you will indeed find a room or a chamber that has a pool, irregularly shaped pool, with a narrow ledge around it. And there's dark water that has the scent of fresh water. And it's kind of cool in there, so it seems like it must be cold water as well. That is at the base of that area. And this natural pool is a bit below ground level, and it seems like it's probably stream fed, or there's some sort of aquifer or something where the water comes from. And there's you also notice as you bring light sources and you look around, you also notice that over in the far corner from the entrance, so kind of over in this area here, you notice that you can see what looks like a human skull and the glint of metal, maybe like a weapon or something that's over there.
So where's the weapon exactly?
It's over on the far side of this pool
Okay.
from the entrance. And you can
Who wants to
see.
go get
Go
the
ahead.
weapon, get the stuff?
I'll go first. I'm usually the one to go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Omu?
I was just gonna say, do we want to do the old school D&D thing of, so we can see a glint of some weapon and a human skull in that back corner, right? If we just standing at the edge, if we disturb the water with a 10-foot pole, just the surface of the pool, do we notice anything?
okay. So, Omu, you're gonna go down there and poke into the water with a 10-foot pole. Is that what I'm hearing?
You know what? What's on? Is there any like loose like debris or like chunks of rock that might have come out of like the ruins of the moat house on the floor? Anything like that?
Yeah, it's kind of a little. Yeah, you can find like a few pebbles or a little chunk of rock that maybe has, broken off of a wall or something.
Then yeah, I would basically just almost using like that little, I take it that's almost like a solid wall that we can see, that like
Oh yeah,
this little kind of like uh this like black length like here, is that?
yeah, yep.
Yeah.
It's solid.
I would want to almost just like sort of using the thing as cover, just throw a little pebble to disturb the water, and then just sort of actually just wait and listen to see if I can hear anything, sort of react or growl or rasp from the water being disturbed.
Okay. So you toss something in, and
Mhm.
you hear sploop as it goes in the water,
Uh-huh.
and then it seems to be quiet.
All right. All right, that's not so bad. Then I will tentatively peek my head around the corner.
Okay. You peek your head around the corner, and you see the dark surface of the water there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just kind of rippling like it would after something had been dropped in, and the ripples are gradually dissipating.
All right.
It's a fairly small pool, so they, go back and forth a few times. Yeah,
I'd like to take a torch, light it from whatever other torch we currently have lit that is giving us
okay.
some light. And I just want to try and toss that torch over into that far corner that has that glint of metal that we're seeing. Just so that
it'll basically be a light source in that room that is emanating from that exact spot of interest, if that's okay.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. So go ahead and just make me a ranged attack roll. You're trying to hit this square here. So let's just see how accurate your toss is.
Okay, I'm just gonna name the weapon for this ranged attack roll, torch, and I'm just gonna do. It's gonna technically be 1 point of damage because it's assisting. I have something.
Yeah.
Wish me luck. I think I did click it. Here we go.
It's not showing up yet.
Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't let me have nothing in there. Let's try one more time.
There we go. Okay.
Load.
Yeah. The first one hits an AC 1. So yeah,
Wow.
you land it. You land that torch right there where you want it to be. I'm gonna go ahead and give you a little. So there's a little pool of light. Okay, that appears there where your torch is. And what you notice over in that corner is the following. You see you see the glint of some coins. Looks like there's some gold coins, a few silver coins, a few copper coins, and a sword. There's also a sitting very near the edge of the water. There is what looks like a brooch made of a shiny white metal, and it has the glint of a dark red stone on it. There is a human skull, and next to the skull appears to be a tube made out of bone.
Ooh. Okay. I want to just go, and I'm gonna make my way around to that.
I'm gonna
But I want.
grab Omo by the shoulder before he goes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold out some rope and say, "Let's tie this to yourself. If you get dragged down, we can pull you out again."
Oh my gosh. Kieran is he's fully old school D&D experience. Yeah, I'll tie that. I'll tie that around my waist. And for what it's worth, yeah, I want to double knot it. Okay.
Okay. So, Omu, you start coming around. Am I understanding you want to come around this way?
Yeah, I want to go around the distant edge.
Okay. All right.
You know, like that type of really
All
hugging
right.
the wall.
So you get about there. And when you get about there, something reaches out of the water with a gigantic claw.
Oh my gosh.
And it grabs at you. And as that does, another one emerges
Oh my god.
and starts to crawl towards you. And we can have ourselves a little bit of initiative now.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
We can't just run. We can't just be like, up.
We can run. Yeah, we can run. But we still have to do it in initiative.
So is the pond like all filled up? Like, are the monsters like? Can we be certain that those two are all of the monsters?
Those are the only two you've seen right now. Sorry, Siren, I'll put you back on the initiative. I was trying to clear out the.
How do we click for initiative here?
If you click on your token and then you go to your character sheet on the combat tab, there should be a little item for initiative, and that
Thank you.
should. Yep. And Siren, what is your initiative? It's okay. There you go.
3.14.
Excellent, excellent. And so Salvador, I know you are at 11. Trophim, we had your dex as 15, did we? Is that what we decided?
What do you mean? Where?
Your dexterity score is 15?
My dexterity score is 40.
14. Okay. And then Omu, what was your dexterity score again?
It's pretty low. I think it's 7.
Okay. So 7. All right. Okay, and then we have
I
our.
think that is what it is, though.
Okay. We'll
7.
add turns for these giant crayfish. All right, so.
Oh, good.
6 and 4.
Well,
Okay.
it was nice knowing you, Elmo.
That laugh
Oh,
is
no.
reassuring.
Okay, so the let's go ahead and get our initiative in order. There we go. And the first thing that happens is this first crayfish. This crayfish. Whoops. This crayfish is. Oh gosh. He is a. He is a. Ooh. 4 hit die monster. Okay, and he has. He has AC of 4, and he makes 2 attacks. So he needs, as a 4 hit die monster, he needs
4 hit die? Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, he needs a 16 to hit armor class 0. So let's see what he can do. 15.
Yeah.
So he hits an
Definitely
armor
gonna
class
hit.
1. And then with his other claw. Ooh!
Oh, my God. He could be down. That could be it.
Okay. And the each of these claws is rather large, and they look kind of menacing. And the first attack does 9 points of damage.
Yeah, I think it might be done, buddy. That does leave me with 4 HP.
And the second attack
Come on, Snake Eyes.
It would be crazy. Yeah,
Nope.
it's done.
does
It's done.
6 points of damage. And as he grabs a hold of Omu with both of these claws, he begins to sink back down into the water, pulling Omu's now limp body with him.
Oh, no,
Now
you
there
don't.
is the rope tied around Omu. And the next thing that happens is our wizard, Trophim.
Yes.
up.
Can I attempt to cast sleep on those 2 monsters?
Okay, yes. Now, sleep is an area spell. So you can cast it on the entire area. And if you put it in an area where your companions are not, the only one of your companions that it might impact is Omu, but Omu's already unconscious, so it doesn't matter if you hit him
Yes.
or not.
Mm.
So, yes, go ahead and make a. Actually, you don't even have to make an attack roll. Just basically ping for me where you want to put that spell. Okay, you want to put it across.
The red's mine. I'm just looking at things.
Oh, okay.
How do I ping again?
Oh, if you just hold your mouse button down, point to an area, and hold your mouse button down. Yeah, okay. All right, so you just want to center it on that area there.
Yeah, center
Okay.
it around the two monsters, or like in the center of a pond, so it affects all of a pond.
Okay, that sounds like a great idea. Now, they will have to make their.
But I mean, if the spell will it like knock the monsters unconscious? Will it still happen to the people that go into the area thereafter?
No, it's an instantaneous thing. So it will
Okay.
affect that area, and anything in that area at the time the spell goes off will fall asleep. And when after that effect washes over it, anybody that moves into that area will not be knocked out.
Okay.
So, yes. So let's take a look at the okay. All right. So, these guys have to make saving throws. And their saving throws are okay. So, what do they save as? They save as a fighter 4th level. Okay, so it's spells. So they have to make a 15. So there's some saving throws coming in. The first one, we'll say it's the one that's grabbed Omu, makes a saving throw. Ooh. It makes its saving throw. It shakes off the effect of the spell. The second one makes a saving throw. Oh, and it does not shake off the effects of the spell. And it falls asleep.
So the one that's dragging Omu, or
The one that's dragging Omo is awake. The one that isn't
Yeah.
dragging Omo is not.
And then, unbeknownst to everybody, until there's a little bit of a disturbance in the water, there's actually a third saving throw
Of course there is.
that happens, and that one fails too.
Yay.
And so,
We all cheer. Huzzah!
yeah, so we'll just bring that to the token layer, and we will say that this guy is also asleep. All right. So 2 of the monsters are now asleep, and it does appear to be giant crayfish. But one of the monsters is still trying to drag Omu underwater. So the second crayfish sleeps, nothing happens. Siren, you're up.
All right. So how far under the water is Omu and the crayfish? Are they still visible?
Oh, they're still visible above the surface of the water because he basically did his attack and now he's starting to try to drag. So you can get in there and whack him.
All right.
You don't have to dive in this time to get him.
I'm gonna hand the other end of the rope to Dora,
Okay.
and I'll keep holding it. I'll move forward and try to attack the crayfish. See if I can get it to let go of Omu.
Okay.
I'm guessing
Ooh.
that hits.
Yeah, that
Wow.
hits.
Is that a crit as well?
But-
Wow,
No.
it's a nat 20.
If it wasn't 1E, it would be.
Yeah, yeah. So that's that's for 3 points of damage. You can tell it's hurt, but this thing has some pretty tough chitin on it.
Mm.
And so it seems to largely shrug off the effects um, of that attack. All right. Anything else, or are you gonna hang out there? Are you gonna step back, or what?
No, I'll stay where I am.
Okay. Omu, um,
Mm,
you're unconscious.
mhm.
Go ahead and roll me a Constitution check, please.
Okay. Let's see. Sometimes the dice aren't in your favor. I do have a 12. Let's see.
Hey, all right, that's one success.
Hey. Okay,
All
cool.
right, so I am going to, on the green one, I am going to say 1. That's 1 positive for Omu. You get 3 greens, you stabilize, you get 3 reds, you
You're
will be
dead.
dead. Dora.
Okay.
Since I'm holding the rope, I don't think there's much I can do.
Oh, well, as long as you guys have the rope, you can pull Omu out if he gets pulled under. But I mean, if you want to move up so that you can either shoot at it or you can whack at it with a weapon or whatever, uh, give you that.
What
Because
what class is Dora?
I'm a fighter as of now.
Oh, okay, cool.
Trying to
Oh,
become
cool.
a paladin, hopefully in the
Oh
future.
yeah, now I know. Yeah, you're right.
I would heal you. I would have. I would have been a cleric, but I heard that there was a cleric already here. But then I found out that he left, and I was like, oh, well.
Fair
I
enough.
think I'll attack with the short bow. It's probably not gonna go well.
okay, armor class 9. Okay, that will not hit. Also, just keep in mind that
Oh,
you would have to get somewhere. Hey, your
I'm
attack.
sorry.
I
I've
mean,
never used
if
a
you,
bow ever.
yeah, you get down here, it'll be the same.
Okay.
So yeah,
Thank you.
that's fine. But yeah, unfortunately that misses,
Darn.
and yep, uh, got a little bit better armor class than that. Now, this time you see this crayfish, it actually lets go of Omu. So Omu is now just there lolling on the side, and it turns its angry claws towards Siren
All right, bring it
because
on.
Siren had the temerity to attack it last time. So it's one attack.
Yes.
Oh, that's going to be a miss. And that's going to be a miss. So it snaps its claws and hits nothing. Trophim.
Yes.
I don't know if you want to run up and try to hit it with your sling, or if you want to just.
How far does my sling reach?
Well, you could get up here next to Dora so that you would have a clear shot. Your your sling will go. It's 30 feet, or 60 feet, or 90 feet. So you got plenty of distance, but you have to be able to see your target because from where you
Okay,
are.
well, I'll use my sling on the guy, so I'll go
Okay.
down here next to
Yeah.
Dora.
Yeah. Okay. And then let's do this. Let's add. Whoops. Let's add your sling, and then okay, and then yeah, all right. There you go. Damage dice. That's going to be 1d4. All right, so then if you click that little button there, yeah, that would do your attack, and that hits an AC 12, so that's gonna miss.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the stone sails over. The other two crayfish, they, lay there, unmoving. Siren, we're back up to you.
All right, let's see if we can skewer this lobster. Yeah.
Nice.
Nope, not gonna happen.
Oh no. Okay, that's a miss.
I'll also say, would one of you like to grab Omu? We might want to get out of here.
I do want to grab Omu once it's my turn. Of course, Omu has to go first.
Okay, Omo, go ahead and make another Constitution. Ooh, okay.
One pass,
Well,
one fail.
yeah. Now that's a red one. Okay, and we're to Dora.
So what do I have to do? Like, what do I have to roll to?
Well, you've got the rope, so you could actually just kind of pull Omu from where you are. You're pretty strong. So you could pull Omu towards you. So let's say, 5, 10, 15, 20, maybe 25 feet. If you did that, that would get Omu out of the way. Yeah, you'd probably want to pull him there or there because you wouldn't want it to end on Trophim space. And then you could either decide you're just going to help pull him out of the way, or if you wanted to render first aid or whatever you wanted to do.
I wanna. How far can I go with him? Like, can I pick him up and go somewhere, or do I have to keep dragging him?
Basically, it's going to be your action to pull him over towards you this round. And then if you try to, you're a fighter, so you've got a decent strength. You could move like 15 feet back up the hallway, carrying him, but that would be all the farther you could go.
I'm retarded. This is what I want.
Okay.
That's you're fine.
So I'd be. Where did I put it? 10, 15. So I'm right at the edge. So I'd be here.
Yep.
And then he'd be here.
Yep. You just pull him up that way.
So I'm
all right.
Shout like, let's get out of here, or at least I'm getting out of here.
Okay. And then we have the crayfish has its turn, and it's going to try to attack Siren again. Ooh. 16. It will hit its armor class. That will hit armor class -1. Does that hit?
That hits.
Okay.
No.
Oh, and a 1. All right. So, 1 hit on Siren.
Yeah, that's enough
Ooh.
to down me.
Oh.
Oh my god.
All right. So,
Grim, can you please pick him up? We need to get out of here.
Oh my
So-
god.
Siren is now down as well. And he's actually he's out. So yeah, the crayfish only hit him with one attack, so he can't try to grapple him or pull him. Trophim, you could try to pull Siren away from the edge of the pool and back up towards the stairs if you wanted to. And that would get you guys basically out of there. It looks like the way this pool is located, these things are kind of scrabbling at the sides, but they can't get up onto the ledge above. So you guys feel like if you got out of here, they probably couldn't get out of the pool and chase you.
Okay. So I guess I'm going to pick up Siren and just go.
Yeah, I'll say you can, if you can get like to here to the base of
Yeah.
the stairs, dragging him. So you can move up there, and then I'll just put Siren in the space next to you after you get moved. Okay, there you go. All right. So yeah, you hear some splashing and thrashing in the pool, but nothing chases after you. Do you guys want to try to give? No, I know Siren, or I believe Siren has a potion on him that Trophim might see, or Torfin might see. Trophim might see that
Well,
has.
Omu knows it's there.
Yeah, Omu knows it's there, but
Yeah.
he's out now. Does Omu have a potion on him?
No, I don't think so. I don't think I
So
have-
We should have bought potions before leaving.
So
I don't
can I look
have
on
those on
Siren
me.
for any potion?
Yes, you can. And you will find one, and you know from your study of magic, you recognize it as a potion of healing.
Yes. So I guess I'll just make Siren drink it. Or who's
Okay.
more injured?
Well, they're both unconscious. They're both if they don't get attention, both of them could die.
I will say Siren was more likely to die just because of my constitution score.
Okay, so I give a potion to Siren.
Okay. All right. Siren, actually Trophon, I'll do this. In this edition, it's 1d6 plus 1. So 4 hit points. So Siren, you have 4 hit points back. And you wake up, and your magic user is standing over you, and there's an empty potion bottle in his hand, and you can taste it there. And you look and you see this big bloody gash in your armor where the crayfish grabbed you. And you kind of think to yourself, oh, I wonder if that bard could heal that one too.
I bet she could.
That's what I was thinking, to bring him back there for only healing this time.
All right.
What do you mean?
So, Dora, I believe your character has the healing skill.
Do
would
I?
you?
I'm a fighter.
Yes. All of the pre-gens, I gave them the healing skill.
Oh.
Because that's a. Let me just make sure that we didn't change any of that. Nope, there it is. Healing. Okay, so if you go to open your character sheet and go to the skills tab,
Mhm.
on the line that says healing over at the right, if you click on that little button under roll, it will.
Well,
Well, down I go.
Okay. Omu,
Yes.
that didn't do anything negative to you.
Thankfully, that
didn't
was
help.
very close.
Yes, but you do need to make another
Okay.
Constitution roll.
Hey.
Hey, okay.
All right.
Good. Let's
Woohoo.
see. I'm going to do this. That's 2 successes. Excellent. And now, Dora, the way healing works in this edition, since you have tried to heal those wounds on Omu, you cannot try again to heal those wounds.
I can try. I feel-
Yes, but Trophim can. So Trophim, you can go over and try to heal Omu if you wish.
Where do I roll it?
Okay. Go to your character sheet.
Oh yeah. I see it. Um.
Oh,
what the
no.
heck?
Great.
Oh, no. Is it
Okay.
back on Omu to roll?
Yeah, it's back on Omu to roll again.
Whew, okay.
Oh,
2 for 2. It all comes down to
Uh.
1.
No,
he's flirting with it. Siren, I don't suppose you have an extra potion, do you?
No, Elmo owes me one, but that's not helping right now.
Okay. Well, Omu, I guess this is for all the marbles. Go ahead
Oh,
and
no.
make another Constitution check.
Whew, okay.
Yes.
Hey, he stabilizes.
Yay!
All right.
All right. Well, hey, the widow won't have to to mourn another.
She would have the worst luck. Oh my god.
She's gonna get a complex. Oh my gosh, is it me?
Is
Oh my
Do I kill them?
gosh. I know.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, I think with our heroes barely clinging to life, I think we'll go ahead and we'll leave the session there.
At least it's
we
a
went-
happy note.
Yeah, we went
Yeah,
a little
it's
bit.
true.
We went a little bit over today, but that was okay. Lots of stuff to get through in town today. Well, at least now you know what's in the well, and you'll have to figure out how you want to deal with that. Now, maybe when your Knoll friends get back in touch with you, you can talk with them and they can tell you what they did to deal with the things in the well. Because obviously, they didn't kill these. Maybe they thought they were too much trouble to kill. Or
I
maybe
mean, we
they-
can always try again.
Yeah, we
No.
really could.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, it almost worked because I was telling
really did.
Trophim. I was telling Trophim Mark when he was making up his character earlier that in this edition, the way sleep works, it confers an automatic coup de grace ability to your fighters. So once a creature is asleep, then your fighter can basically walk up to that creature, stab it in a vital area, and it will just die. So it doesn't matter whether it's a giant, whether it's a dragon, whether it's a giant crayfish, or whether it's a kobold. If you knock it out and you stab it with an edged weapon, it's just dead. So
Good to know
if
about strategy now.
Yeah. So if Trophim had been able to land that sleep spell on all 3 of the monsters, then it would have been very easy to just choop, choop, choop. Now they're all dead.
So are we going? So how much XP do we get?
I will put that in the session notes. So that'll go up on the Discord probably later this weekend or the first part of next week.
Okay.
And then you can jot that down and put it on your character sheet. And remember, Trophim, for you, whatever that total is, just add another 5% to it
Yes.
because you have that bonus. All right. So for the session itself, is there anything else that we need to do, or we just want to call it here?
I think we should call it here.
Yeah, we can call it.
I went over time, but it was well worth it. It was well
Yeah.
worth it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, that could have gone either way. We might have found something interesting there, or we might not have. And you almost found the interesting mystery of what lays beyond the mortal coil, but fortunately, Omu did not.
Despite
Okay.
despite so many failed healing attempts.
Omu exists
Okay.
despite God.
Bye guys, I guess.
All right. Take care,
Later.
Mark. We will see you next week. And take care, everyone on the stream.
Thanks for a great session, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Lo,
Mark,
thanks for hanging out with
saving
us.
Pretty much.